This is the DJI Neo 2, a brilliant little drone for solo filmmakers. It's so quick and easy to use that now I find I reach for it more than any of my other drones. It's tiny, it follows you around, and really importantly, you're up and running very quickly with no fiddling around. It's made capturing my adventures much easier. But it's not perfect, and the more I've used it, the more I've run into a series of annoying issues. Some minor, some baffling. So in this video, I'm going through everything wrong with the DJI Neo 2. We're going to look at 4 important areas: hardware and design, flight and performance, image quality, and software and controls. Let's get into it, shall we? So the first thing we're going to look at is this lens cap. I find it infuriating. First of all, you never know which way to put it on, and it doesn't want to clip in smoothly or securely. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do the top first, the bottom first. It just doesn't feel simple. If this just said top and bottom, this would be so much easier to clip into place. So my Neo 2 just ran out of battery after maybe 7 or 8 minutes of flight, maybe 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, something like that, but not really very long time. And what's interesting is this thing weighs 151 grams, a little bit extra with this, a little bit extra with the prop guards, which I would say are essential. But the battery, this feels very light. There's no lithium ion in here. They could easily have added some more lithium ion into here to make these last a little bit longer, which would be much better. Next up, we have the issue that there is no external memory card support for this drone. There's nowhere to put a memory card in. It is limited with the footage that you have on here, which makes it a bit awkward. You'll see at the end as well, I have attached this transmitter, which I use when you're connecting to a controller. Now, this covers the USB-C port that goes in here, and for reasons I don't understand, the USB-C port is placed underneath the drone. So when you want to transfer footage in and out, you can't plug it in and put it down. You have to kind of either put it upside down where it's got these little dangly bits, or what I tend to do is hang it off a table so the cable's coming out, and that's just going to get tripped and knocked. Really, I don't understand why it's here. It should just be at the back or somewhere else on the drone along one of the sides. So next up is flight and performance, and the first thing we're going to do is look at the spotlight mode. That is one of the most useful modes that you have on the camera. So you can set it up in a position and it tracks you around doing what you're doing without the drone actually moving. The gimbal will tilt and follow you, the camera will rotate to follow you, but the drone will remain stationary. So let's get this up in the air and I'll show you the problem I have.
Spotlight. 3, 2, 1.
Just repositioning my microphone because of the noise of the drone. So the first thing I want to do is position the unit where I want it. So I'm just going to go up with the gesture control, and now I want it to be overhead. I want to be able to demonstrate what I'm doing overhead. So I can move it further away by 2 hands like this, or I can bring the drone closer to me like this. And you can see that this drone is not moving over my head. It will only be closest to me about 1 or 2 meters. It's extremely irritating because I want often to have footage directly overhead, and that makes it hard to position the drone. You can go into the app and flick it onto manual control in spotlight mode and try and get it to appear directly above you, but it won't go. So now we're going to look at the next most common flight mode that I use with this drone, which is the follow mode, and I have 2 problems with the follow mode. So the first issue that I have is it's quite stop and start, even when it's following on behind. So if the drone is following you from the rear, it can track the direction that you've gone and follow you exactly. When it's in front of you, it has to predict where you're going to go. And actually, it just assumes you're going to go straight, even if the drone gets into trouble. I don't have a problem with that because the drone is not a mind reader and it doesn't have a perfect picture of the world. It does a very good job of trying to keep up with you. But from the rear, it knows exactly where you've gone, and yet it will still get into trouble. And the footage can end up being quite stop and starty and not very fluid. So one of my main use cases for this drone is to be able to use it whilst I am kayaking or canoeing. And the footage that you get from it when you take off and you record yourself over water is incredible because there's no other way really of getting that footage. DJI do say that you should not fly this over water or highly reflective environments. So I am in no way complaining about that, and you can still get some good footage from it. And the price point of this drone means that, you know, if it crashed, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You're not risking £1,000. But what I do find is that when I am seated in a kayak, it will not see me for the gesture control to return to my palm and land, and that is quite infuriating. You have to get your camera out, you have to get your phone out, connect your phone up, fly it up, and then literally grab it out of the air. I would love to see better support for that palm landing. Now, in the footage that you can see, I'm wearing paddling gloves. It could be that the problem is the gloves, in which case, again, that is a software fix that they could offer better support for. Maybe it's because I'm using fingerless gloves and it's better with normal gloves. Maybe it will only see skin-based fingers, I don't know. But I would love to see some improvements that enable me to get more out of the drone using it over water. Then we have a problem with the follow mode that I want that doesn't exist, which is top-down follow. When you do follow mode, you can position the drone wherever you want around you in 360 degrees. You can't position it directly above and have it track along with you. That's a shot that a lot of people want to do. You've seen that all the time in the movies. There's a car driving along and there's the drone following along, pointing directly down at it. Or maybe there's a person walking through a landscape and the drone is pointing directly down at the person and following along with them. It's a fantastic shot. It's not available on this drone. The follow modes are only around the side, and then you can put a bit of height, but nothing appears top down. Unfortunately, as you can probably see, the weather today is beautiful and there is very, very little wind. But I can tell you, if there is the slightest gust when you are flying this, the drone will struggle to maintain its position. Other drones that I've got do a much, much better job of keeping locked on in a single place in high winds. This thing, it's small, maybe it's less powerful, but it gets blown around an awful lot, which makes it very difficult to use in anything other than a very, very light breeze. Next up, we have an issue with shooting with this for social media, which has got to be one of the main purposes. And the problem is in the app, you can go through and you can record a portrait video, but all that does is crop your footage down. Most modern drones will actually rotate the gimbal, but this one does not have the range of movement to support it. So it can't rotate the gimbal, which is quite frustrating because that's kind of one of the things that you want. So you get the full 4K quality of the footage that comes out. And whilst we're talking about footage quality, we also need to talk about the graininess of the output from this camera. It is very, very grainy and very sharp, and it takes quite a lot of effort in post to get this into a form that you can really use, especially if you're doing cinematographic landscape images. This drone is not really suitable for that because the image quality is just not quite there. So now we have software and controls, and this is probably my most irritating of all issues, and this applies to the DJI Neo 2 and all of the other DJI drones. I do not understand why they do this, but this is what happens. This drone If you take off, you start recording, you fly, you capture your perfect cinematographic shot, and then you forget to stop recording, you land the drone and you power the drone off, that footage is lost. It is gone. You do not have it anymore. And I think the reason they do this is the on-off button is physically on the battery. So when you press that, it just cuts the power for the whole drone, and any footage it's recorded up to that point is lost. What an issue, what a problem. Obviously the way to resolve this is that there's a setting in the app that automatically stops a recording on landing. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. It applies to all of their drones. The problem is gone and the issue of lost footage goes away for everyone forever. Also under software controls, we have some of the issues with the app. Now, when you are flying a drone with a controller, you have 3 speed controls: Cine, Normal and Sport. And that effectively sets the maximum speed that your drone will fly at when the stick is pushed forwards and backwards. I find I use that all of the time. Flick it into Sport, get the drone into the position you want it to be in, flick it into Cine, get your shot, flick it into Sport, fly it back again, find you forgot to stop press recording and you have to do the whole thing again. The problem with this is that this drone comes into its own because there's no fiddling about with a controller. If you've got a controller that you pair with a phone, you have to get your controller out, get your phone out, flick your phone in, turn the drone on, wait for the drone to acquire GPS. The whole thing is a faff. This thing, there's none of that. You press a button, it's up and it's gone. It's tracking you. Maybe it's got GPS connection, maybe it hasn't by the time you started. It doesn't matter because it's tracking you and you can position it with gesture control. But as soon as you try and use the app to do a manual flight, what you find is there's no maximum speed control. And that becomes a problem trying to get any sort of smooth cinematic flight from it, because the control that you're using in the app is very, very small and very difficult for you to fiddle about with and get the exact right speed that you want and to maintain a speed. In the app, it would be so easy to have an option to set a maximum speed whilst you're flying using manual control, or even just to have a selector between Cine, Normal and Sport mode, but they don't have it. And it's only a software fix. It doesn't require any changes to this drone to enable it. They just don't have it. And I find that infuriating. So I wanted to do one shot that demonstrates how quickly you can go from getting the drone out your pocket to flying it. So you can see from these lights here that this drone is off. So let's turn it on. Goes through its boot up sequence. I can see from the front that I'm already in follow mode. I click the button.
Front. Follow. 3, 2, 1.
And we are off. So that's everything wrong with the DJI Neo 2. What do you think? Do you own this drone? What problems have you found with it? Please let me know in the comments. I'd like to end by saying I still love this drone and I'm still going to carry on using it. And the reason is you can be up and running and flying in seconds, and there's no faffing around with other controllers or other gear that you have to carry. It's just this one little thing and you're off and you're running. That, I think, is essential. So where do we go from here? So what's the future? Honestly, I think this is a good drone. But what I'm really excited about is the Neo 3 or the Neo 4 when they start to close some of these issues. If DJI have done anything, they've demonstrated that a low hassle, quick to fly drone has a market for a high-end camera with high-end support. They call this a beginner's drone. Who's a beginner? It doesn't make sense to me. A beginner drone, I don't see it. I can understand there's a professional drone, I get that. But a beginner, these things are all very, very easy to fly. There's not a lot of skill involved in learning to fly. The skill is in picking the shots. And that is irrelevant to the drone. What they mean is this is an entry point level drone. This is a low cost level drone. I would very happily pay a little bit extra to have a number of these issues fixed and to get higher quality footage that comes out of it. And that's what I'd like to see next. Perhaps the 3, perhaps the 4, perhaps it's a different concept of drone. Perhaps they add the gesture control into some of their other drone family, because I think that would make a big difference. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Bye.